tangled up. I've been outside. Even though we don't do a lot of sanding, sometimes you have to smooth your surfaces. So this morning I have been outside in the cold sanding, and let me show you what we've gotten done. I'll get out of the way while I fix my hair. Sorry. So yesterday, you'll remember if you were with me, we went with our combination 50-50 mix of pine shadow and midnight. This is called forest. I think it is the perfect color for this cabinet, which will no longer sit straight on the roller dolly. I took it outside, and now it's just really mad about having been outside. Won't sit up straight. And I had it so straight yesterday. Let's see if that works. But we went over all of the surfaces with one coat, and we will definitely need to put another coat of forest on. But today we're going to focus on this upper surface. If you'll remember when we started this adventure, I was going to use some acetone. I was going to do that acetone experiment on this. And acetone experimentation, not a good idea on a fiberboard or engineered wood surface. So, took it outside, smoothed it all down, and now we're going to layer some colors in to create our wood surface finish. Let me show you what I mean. I have picked out some different tones, and these are mixes that I have. This one actually is taupe, and it has a little bit of classic gold in it. Let me hold it in the light so you can see. It's a nice creamy mid-tone color. This one is, I believe this is birch. It's a really light finish. Now, I don't want that honey oak color that the AI gave us when it reproduced this cabinet. I don't like that honey oak tone much at all. I want to richen it up. And let me grab my Sahara. I'll have to go around. But I want to get a base color on here. Not that that's the color we're going to end with, but it's the color we're going to start with. And sometimes you just have to lay down a good base coat and move forward with your life. We're going to, I want to grab a different brush, and got it. I'm going to wet my bristles just a little bit so they're damp. And let's put the glasses on so we can see what we're doing this morning. Hope you are well. Thank you for joining me. If you've been with me this week, thank you. This is going to be a really great piece once it's completed. It looks so good together. I'm just going to trim this in right along this edge. I don't want to chase paint because right beneath this edge is our forest, and I don't want to chase light colors against dark colors, so I'm going to cut it in real carefully. And there's a couple of spots I may need to go back over with the sander. Once you put color on, you can see the flaws. Sometimes they're glaring, and sometimes they're just minimal. I see a glaring flaw right there, so we'll get to that later. First the base coat, then you can see what's wrong and you can go back and correct. Please don't believe that you just grab a piece of furniture, slap some paint on it, and you're done with your project. If you're new to refinishing, take your time. Doesn't matter how expensive the piece is or how inexpensive the piece is. Your finish, your work, at this point is what matters. And if your work is junk, then your piece of furniture will look like junk. If you take some time and you do a decent job, then no matter the value of the piece of furniture, you'll end up with a great end result a beautiful finish. I'm going to thin this just a little bit, and who knows, maybe you'll get top dollar for what you're working on. And if you're working on an expensive piece of furniture, you definitely want to make sure that you do a good job on it. This is just a base coat, so I'm going to thin it and spread it out. I just want to see the coverage on this top. Since it is engineered lumber, I don't want a heavy first coat on here because I'm not going for full coverage. I want to see the flaws so I can fix them. And let me scooch forward. I'm just going to cut this edge in close. This is birch, by the way. One of the 54 colors of Rethunk Junk Paint by Laura that we carry. Just put an order in. I know, I'm missing a couple of colors. I don't normally run out. We've had a lot this winter to manage, and I think we've managed pretty well. I think we've come through. I don't know about flying colors, but I think we've come through. And we've got paint on order, so be patient. It's coming. I hate to run out of any colors. And I knew I was running a little bit low on a few things. And I just waited. As if it was going to magically pop up on my shelf. All right. And there we go. Just a nice, simple base coat. And I'll clean that edge off. I don't have to, but I want to. I don't want paint hanging over. And we're going to do another coat of the dark green forest anyway, so that'll be just fine. Now, I'm not really going to change my brush out. I'm just going to cap this. And we're just going to work our way upward until we have the finish that we're looking for on here. And then we're going to replicate it on the shelf underneath. And that's why I left this back piece off, so I could work from the inside and the outside to get from the front side and the back side, so we could get all the coverage that we needed. Let's stir this up just a little bit. Rethunk Junk Paint by Laura is a water-based acrylic, so you can always add a little bit of water to thin it, to spread it out a little bit. And I have found if I missed my work when I'm getting toward the end, it actually helps the paint to lay down. And you want the paint to lay down and smooth out. So anything you can do while you're working to make that work will just make your finish that much better. Now this is going to blend a little bit. I'm okay with that. I'm going to catch these edges right quick, cut them in so that they're nice and clean, and then I'll pull straight back, and I'll tell you what I'm going to use here to make this move a little bit better. I'm actually going to take one of my silicone blades. I love these silicone blades when I am working multiple colors because they don't blend the colors, mix them together, if you will, like a paintbrush will. It'll just take them and smooth them. And I've got a little bit of water in here, so I need to do a light, gentle hand so I don't spill it over the sides. If you don't have silicone blades, get some. These do a great job. I probably put a little too much water to this, and I need to let it simmer for a second and evaporate. We still have cold temperatures this morning, but nothing like we were experiencing. And I think this is the last long sleeve day for a little while. Might have to wear a light long sleeve. I'm okay with that. It's the layers that kill me when I'm trying to work. Now, this is nowhere near the color that we're going to end up with. But look how gorgeous that is. It's nice and smooth. Make sure we don't have any ridges. I love it. I love it. We're going to let that dry. I'm going to clean this off. The beauty of a silicone blade versus a paintbrush is that I can take this and wipe it clean in 2 or 3 swipes, and it's ready for me to use again. A paintbrush requires soap and water and patience. I'm going to clean this back edge because I don't want paint drips. And that looks great. All right, now the inside's going to be a little more tedious because I'm obviously not going to be able to do the exact same movement inside that I did on the top side. And we need to let this dry before we move forward with this. I'm not going to throw the fan on it yet. Maybe I will. It's cold in here, and I'm really not looking forward to turning a fan on. So let me scooch this back, and we'll pop the fan back up here on the table. I can turn this on heat. If I turn it on low, it'll be just fine. Just fine, she said. There we go. And let's let that dry a little bit. I'll swap my fan and my light. That way my fan's up high enough. Sorry, I don't mean to be right up in your face. But the fan needed to get a little height so that it goes right across that top surface. Now, once you've got your first colors on, you've got your base layer on, and you let that dry, then you can build on that. We just needed a really good base layer to get this started. Let me turn it so you can see how gorgeous that is going to be with that dark green. We're not done. It looks too white, and we're going for more of a wood tone, and we will get there. We're going to layer several colors to get that finish, though. And this is just the first one. And we'll definitely need to do this inside. You can see my hands down here. This is going to be a booger, but we're going to get to it. So let's let this sit in its glory in the heat. Let's talk for just a minute about this upper piece, because that's the piece that's been keeping me awake at night. I don't want to paint it. I want to paint it. Well, let me move this chair, and I can pull this back forward. We have a lot of rolly chairs in here, and they are fun. Unlock. There we go. We'll roll this right on in beside that, and I'll tip you over just a little bit. That's a gorgeous piece of lumber. Beautiful East Lake design. absolutely phenomenal 100-year-old piece of furniture that nobody really wants. It does not have a lower section to it. It coordinates with this piece so well. And my options are to leave it like it is, but it's not going to match this anymore, or paint it to match. And if I want to paint it to match, there's a lot of architecture here. I love the gold finish over the green, and I personally think it's the way to go. So I think that's what we're going to do. I really do adore the way that the way the AI showed us what this would look like finished. Now I've already cleaned it twice. I cleaned it with the prep, and I also used a scrub pad, a little green scrubby, so that I could get all of the dirt and grime off as possible. This piece was not well cared for, but I tell you what I'd like to do. Because there's so much architecture, and in case somebody down the line wants to refinish this at some point in time, I'm probably going to take some low luster tough top and give us a good solid base to go over. I don't think anybody's ever going to repaint this, to be honest, but just for good measure, let's do this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to seal this wood. Two reasons. One is the obvious. If somebody wants to refinish it somewhere later in life, then this seal coat will be a protective layer between the wood and the paint. So if there are purists watching, don't freak out when I say I'm going to paint this, because I'm going to seal it first. That way, if you want this, you have the perfect opportunity to remove the paint and let it live life just like it was. And if you're not a purist and you don't like the color, you can just go over it. You don't need to strip it. But this will protect the wood because it did take a lot for me to clean it. It gives us a good base to start from so that the wood doesn't absorb so much of the paint. And it gives me just another minute to think this through. And I know if I'm in doubt, I shouldn't do it. But I don't know that I'm in doubt so much as I wonder where the coupling piece for this might be in life. But it really looks good on top of the cabinet we have. And at the end of my day, I will tell you all the time, it's just a piece of furniture. No one is going to fall out because you paint a piece of furniture. And if they do, that's pretty much on them, not you. So I need to live by that golden rule too. Nobody's going to fall out because I paint this. And if you want this, message me right now and I won't paint it. However, it pretty much looks like this is what's going to happen. So no ugly comments. You didn't come to rescue it. It's been in here for sale. So many pieces of furniture are in here for sale. And if you are not interested in seeing me paint them, come buy them. Because I have plans for some of this furniture this year. Already made plans. If you're making plans to come to the Petey State Farmers Market this weekend for the craft show, it starts on Saturday morning. We'll be here 8 a.m. sharp. We will have demos and sales throughout the store throughout the day. So please come on by. Later in the afternoon, we will have a workshop in the studio session, if you will. So make sure you have plans to come by and join me for that. And yeah, we should be done with this and have this out on the floor for you to take a look at by Saturday. That's my goal. I think we can get there. Say hi as you come in. Good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for stopping by. Right now I'm just putting a low luster finish sealant on this upper cabinet piece. It's an absolutely gorgeous East Lake, and we're going to marry it to a more modern base that we've already started coloring in. I've gone in my life from coloring books to coloring furniture, and it is a good life. I do want to make sure that I clean up these drips and runs. This is a water-based acrylic, a water-based polyacrylic. So it's very thin, does an amazing job covering. You don't need a ton of it. But you do want to make sure it's not dripping and running. Because even with our tough top, drips and runs will show, and it's not a good look for finished furniture. And if you're trying to put your best work forward, drips and runs they're not your best work. So check your ridges and your edges. Don't just slap the paint on and walk away. Make sure you have a clean finish so that your piece of furniture looks the best that it can when you're done. I saw a post, and the poor child had finished a piece of furniture, probably one of the first and maybe one of the last she'll ever do, because people were so ugly to her. You know what? Give each other some grace, guide each other with love. Don't be mean. Just don't be mean. Let people live and learn. We all will. Hopefully we all will. And if you have to start a sentence with, I don't mean to be mean, but you're being mean, just stop. That's my life advice for today. But don't be mean about somebody else's work. It might come back on you. All right, I'm going to scoop this down. So that I can get to this section right here. I probably better do this first. Almost done, almost. Just a quick little short coat of sealer to help protect the wood because it was really dirty, really dry. And it's my last chance to back out of painting this. But the more I've cleaned this, the more I've looked at this, the more I feel like I am not hurting anything by making it more beautiful. It is beautiful. We're going to make it more beautiful. And we're going to make it usable. And what good is a piece of furniture if it's not usable? That's what it's supposed to be for. So I think the best respect we can give this piece is to give it another life and let someone enjoy it. All right. Clean up a little bit of the extra. Make sure it's smoothed out. We don't want it gummed up in any of the detail work. And just like that, we are ready to go. Okay, last shot. If you want to buy it, tell me now, forever hold your peace. Because we're painting this. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stunning. So let me cap this and move it out of the way. I think I have my settings correct finally on YouTube. So I hope that you are able to watch the entire video. If not, shoot me a message and let me know. Because we've had some challenges converting to YouTube. Hopefully they'll be much nicer than our previous format. All right, our surface is drying, but it's not completely dry, so we're going to leave it alone. And we're going to go ahead and start over here. Move the tools out of the way so I don't get paint on my drill. And I am probably going to put my gloves on today. I would stand this up to paint it, but it has an edge down here at the bottom so that it sits on top of the piece of furniture. And if I stand this up, it's not going to be stable. So we're just going to have to paint it with it laying down, and it'll be all right. Away we go. I am going to scoot my little bench out of the way, and let's start right here at the very top. And as I'm painting, I'm going to be sure that I'm not using a heavy finish. I don't want to one coat this because there's so much carved detail, and I don't want to lose that in a coat of paint. Because a lot of those details we're going to fill in with our gold metallic. And if you've never used Rethunk Junk Metallics, this is your week. They're going to be used heavily. Our gold metallic is going to be employed, and it is going to make this pop, really pop. And I'm hoping to be able to finish the one coat on this today, put the second coat on the base, put the second coat on the upper. Tomorrow, perhaps we will be ready to finish the surface and start gilding some of the details on this. I think this is going to look really, really beautiful. I think it's going to look just like the AI images that we created. I'm not a huge fan of AI, but I'll tell you something. When you're trying to figure out your color combinations, AI can be your friend. And if you're not already following us, besides YouTube, which the only thing we do here is our live tutorials, but if you're not following us on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, we have a Pinterest page. We also have a TikTok. It's easy to move our images and our information across the platforms. Make sure you're following us. We don't always put the same information on each platform. Sometimes we do. But if you want to see what's coming up, you want to know what we're considering before we get here, take a look at any of our social platforms first, and you'll get a better idea of what's coming up. Can you see that green going on? That green is stunning. There we go. I don't want to miss any spots, but I am going to go back over it on a second coat, so I'm not terribly worried about full coverage on the first coat. And it's going to take some time to do all this architecture and make sure we're not pooling paint in a spot where we are detracting from the beautiful carvings in this wood. And while some people might pitch a fit about me painting this, I'm actually going to make it more beautiful than it already is. And you will be able to see the details so much better, especially once we put the gilding on. Y'all, this looks nice. I like this brush for this kind of detail work because the bristles are longer than my Wooster Shortcut. I love my Wooster Shortcut for full coverage. I like my Purdy brush because the bristles are longer and it gives me more reach inside this detail. Alright, I'm going to come on down this edge right here, and then I'm going to stop for just a brief time, and we're going to take a look at our surface on our base and see where we are with that. Then we're going to hop off so we can get some work done. I'll leave that right there. Let me scoot this back out of the way, and let's take a look. This is drying very nicely. Got a little bit more to dry right here, but that's a great start to surface finish that'll get us to more of a wood tone look over the top of our forest. So we'll do this section next. We'll get our tones and our colors right here. Any imperfections that I feel like I can't live with, now's the time for me to fix those and then blend out the colors again so that we can keep building on these tones and get a really nice finish. I don't want to touch it because I have the dark green on my hands. I am really enjoying this project. I hope you are too. I'm going to scoot this out of the way and let it continue to dry. I may even move the fan over. Let's see if I've got enough cord. Yeah, move the fan over onto the top so I can dry that really well. Let me tip you up and say goodbye. I hope you have enjoyed today's tutorial. I'm Diane Pruitt. If I didn't tell you to begin with, I'm so sorry. I was so excited about getting started today. We're in the studio at Two Girls Treasure, located in Florence, South Carolina. We're at the PD State Farmers Market. We're just a half-mile off I-95. There was a wreck this morning. It was in the other direction, so getting here is very, very easy. Come by and see us. We're open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. for the rest of the year. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I appreciate you. Have a beautiful day. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. I will see you right back here in the studio tomorrow morning. Bye now.